Hey everybody, quick fair warning, the audio in his vlog is really fucked up. Obs had an update where all of a sudden it really hates my webcam settings. For whatever reason, it makes clicks and pops in the left speaker. I messed around with the webcam settings and lowered the resolution, and magically that seems to have fixed it. I literally do not have time this week to re-record the vlog though. Really sorry, I've done as much audio editing stuff as I can to fix it up. On with the show. Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here with the weekly vlog. Haven't had a whole lot of time to prepare a whole lot of stuff because I've been working so hard on YPW, but the big subject I want to talk about this week, which was brought on by Metagoblin's video, is about the new YouTube algorithm update. Before I get onto that though, a few quick subjects. First is ! Ye! I don't know how to describe this to you. Click the video. It'll open a new tab. It's like 3 minutes long. It's amazing, and I'm happy the community loves it. Second quick thing is, hey, you remember Tad? People want me to remind them of it more, and money's really tight. So if you want to watch some advertisements on your phone to get me paid instead of, like, sending money or something, then there you go, use Tad. It'd be really appreciated. Third quick one is the YPW me asking you questions video thing came out yesterday. I'd love it if you go watch that and give me a ton of feedback on it, because I'm really overhauling the series. I want to make sure it's really good for everyone. In fact, it's why I've been so busy this week, is just because I've been working so hard on YPW. And lastly, before the main subject, is I want to do a stream of Expeditions Viking, which is, it's, I guess, the spiritual successor kind of thing to Expeditions Conquistador, if you saw me stream that years and years ago. The game is not out yet on Steam, you cannot purchase it yet. However, the devs actually sent me an early build and said, yeah, you can kind of do whatever you want with this, so I totally want to stream that soon. We were going to do it earlier, but plans keep falling through and everything and schedules don't meet up, but you'll be seeing me stream pre-release of that game soon. It's nowhere near done, but you can definitely see what the game is about, and it's really cool so far, so I want to show that off. But right, on to the main topic. I want to talk about the YouTube algorithm. So you've probably seen a lot of channels talk about the new YouTube algorithm, but I think I'm going to take a new twist on it, just because I don't want to say the same thing that everyone said a billion times. So I was watching a video earlier today by Metagoblin. I'll have like a clickable link to his video on screen if you want to go watch it. And he was talking about the YouTube algorithm and how it caused a weird phenomenon with him, where he made just some random throwaway video of him shaving off his beard, and that got way more views than everything else he did. Now, I've seen a lot of the other things he's done. It's not like the beard video was way better than everything else he's done or something. It was a fun little throwaway video. The rest of what he did, though, during that time frame is what you'd more so associate with quality content. You know, it's more informative and more entertaining and, like, you know, it's not a video of a guy shaving his beard. Well, that made me think of that time that I made that video of Fatima and I baking brownies, just because she said that she was going to film us making brownies one day. I was like, why not? I'll put in the work and make it into a proper video for the show. And what happened was that got a lot more views than the rest of the videos I did, I think the whole month. Now, I'm sure a large part of that is just because, you know, if you're watching my channel, if you regularly watch my channel at least, it's a variety gaming channel. I'm gonna do a lot of different games. Some of them you're into and some of them you're not into, and not everybody's gonna watch a game that they're not into just because they like me. If I'm doing 3 different game series at a time and you're only into one of those game series, maybe you're just gonna watch that one game series. But if you're regularly watching me, you're probably at least passingly interested in me, which is probably part of why you would watch the vlogs, or watch some random video of me making brownies, especially because you don't get to see full-body shots of me very often. I'm usually in front of this webcam and you only see a little bit of me. So seeing me walk around and do something around the apartment is probably interesting to you. Another big part of that, though, is that it just looked like something really different, and so people were curious and clicked on it, and because of the new algorithm, that click matters a lot more than if you kept watching. You see, for a long time, what YouTube's algorithm was based largely off was this weird combination of audience retention, which is how long did you keep someone sitting down and watching a video, which was easily gamed unfortunately, as well as how long of a video watching session did you spur on. So you'd get promoted if someone were to start watching your playlist, for instance, and sit down for a very long viewing session of your playlist, but also just if they watched your 5-minute video and then they hit a suggested video and started watching other things for a long time, they would promote you because you started them off on a long viewing session on YouTube in general. Now this got gamed a little bit because people quickly realized, well, if I just post really, really long videos, then it doesn't matter if only like 5% of people watch to the end, because that total viewing time of those few people amasses to way more than the total viewing time of a larger number of people who are watching shorter videos. That's why around the time, people would start uploading long streams with just advertisement breaks every hour or so. Because, of course, if anyone's gonna metagame the YouTube algorithm, it's gonna be gamers. It's what we do. We're always trying to look for new ways to be efficient. This isn't a new thing, by the way, of gamers trying to find the most efficient way, you know, since, like, esports became big. I remember as a kid, I had kind of small hands, so the N64 controller was a little bit unwieldy for me. To be fair, it was unwieldy for everyone, it was not a very good controller, but you get the point. I would actually use an elastic band that I could flick on and off of the shoulder buttons with my thumb to more efficiently use the L button on the N64 controller on certain games. And that was me as a kid. Gamers are all about min-maxing for the most part, about being the most efficient, so if anyone's gonna metagame the system, it's gonna be gamers. And lo and behold, every single time the algorithm changes, yeah, a lot of people game the system and find a way around it, but gaming circles tend to really heavily go in on that. So the new YouTube algorithm cares more about view velocity, I believe is what some people are calling it. I don't know if YouTube has officially called it that. It's this weird system where a video will get promoted based on how quickly people click it, in a way. Basically, and we don't know the exact time frame, but it seems to be about the first 24 hours. The more people click it in the first 24 hours, the more likely it's going to be promoted beyond that day, whether that be put in subscription feeds, put in suggested videos, high up in the search rankings, things like that. If people click it quickly when they see it, if they're not saying, oh, I'll watch that later, if they're instead saying, I want to watch that right away, YouTube says, let's promote that one. Now, I know why they did this. You'll notice if you go on any suggested videos page, the vast majority of what's suggested is just traditional old media, whether that be news outlets or movie trailers. It's actually kind of kicking YouTubers, like career YouTubers, down into the gutter here, where they're just taking all these sponsorships, and I get it, YouTube has never had a profitable year. YouTube advertisements are not worth much, it's a very expensive website to host, I get that they genuinely need the money. However, they're kind of burying career YouTubers who made the site what it is in favor of taking these sponsorships to promote news channels and stuff. So naturally, this whole click velocity thing really favors news sites because they'll be reporting on the newest news, and you'll see that, and you've heard about it a little on Twitter, or maybe you've seen it on the TV a little bit, and you're like, oh, that's relevant immediately, so I'll click on that little short video and watch that first, and then get on to watching my favorite YouTubers. Well, because of this new system, that means that those news stations and whatever those things are will get promoted heavily. And here's where we metagame it. Because we're a generation who metagame like crazy, we are like, okay, let's abuse the system. So now we've got all these thumbnails that's must watch, gone sexual, red arrow pointing at red circle, circled over thing you can't quite see properly, so you gotta click on the video and see just what's going on. Here's the problem. If you put that thumbnail on a good video, then Yeah, it's kinda lame, but at least the content of the video is good, and that's a reasonable defense for having a clickbaity thumbnail like that, I think. Is the most important thing is, what's the quality of the actual video? It's why I don't really get mad at game theory, for instance, where game theory will have these really clickbaity thumbnails, but the content of the video was genuinely well-researched, well-made, entertaining. It's a really good channel, so I can kinda get over the clickbaity nature. Whereas there are a lot of, like, the easy scapegoat is prank channels. A lot of prank channels just fake pranks, and it's just this awful content of some guy yelling at you to like and subscribe at the beginning of the video before you even know if the video's any good. Just begging. So the real weakest point, I think, of this system is with audience retention. If you're going to continue watching the video, then that means you're probably not lied to. The original reason that they introduced the audience retention-based system of promoting videos was because of clickbait. They'd have misleading titles and thumbnails. Tons of people would click on it and click off right away, realizing it's not what they want to watch, and those videos would get promoted. So they did audience retention because if you're keeping watching the video, you're probably enjoying it and it's probably a good video. So unfortunately, they've basically gone to a modified version of the old system where it's views that matter, but not necessarily the view number, but the relative number it got within the first short amount of time after it was uploaded. Now, the annoying byproduct of this is it doesn't really matter how good the video is. Once again, we've gone back to a system where you can have misleading thumbnails and titles, and you get promoted through that. Now, it's not as bad a system as it used to be, because it's not going to get promoted as heavily as it used to be for this clickbait, but it's still worse, if you ask me, than the audience retention model we used to have, which was better. Now, part of this also was to try and make it so animators could make a living on YouTube again, because before the audience retention thing, animators made a killing on YouTube. After the audience retention thing, they were basically murdered. That's why a lot of animators went to doing Let's Plays on the side, because it's the only way to get that content out there in a way that'll get promoted, and basically make a living on the side in between animations. That's a serious problem, and this new algorithm change might actually help with that. However, it dicked over a lot of people who have made their living off of the audience retention method. Now, I've been around on YouTube for 7 years or something now, so I've had the algorithm favor me and not favor me plenty of times. I can understand these things go in waves, but it's terrifying knowing that at any moment, YouTube could do some arbitrary change that you can't see, and you just get murdered as a result. But yeah, I think the biggest problem here is just that this new promotion system does not take into account the quality of the video very well. I'm sure that audience retention still plays some role, which is important, and it needs to, but it's like Metagaming was saying in his video, and I've noticed it on quite a few of mine. If your video didn't get clicked a ton in the first day, then it just kind of freezes. Because if you're not big on social media to promote your video to get more people watching it days and days after, then no one's seeing your video unless they just go on your channel. And that's the vast minority of people who just happen to decide randomly one day, I'm gonna click on his video and check his video section and just make sure I've missed nothing. Not many people do that. If they don't see it in their subscription feed and they don't see it in their suggested videos, they're probably just gonna miss your video. Another interesting thought about this is that it matters now more than ever what time you upload your videos. Now, I've been experimenting with when I upload my videos for the last couple weeks. That was coincidental to this because I only started really researching into this whole click velocity thing recently. However, it matters now more than ever when you upload your videos, because if it needs to get a big boom of viewers all at the same time, you gotta upload it at a time when the majority of your audience is gonna sit down and search for videos. Like, I used to almost always upload my videos at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Now, that was great for my European viewers and everything. It wasn't so good for the majority of my North American viewers. What I've actually found now is uploading at 3 p.m. and uploading at 8 a.m. get about the same amount of views by the end of the day. Now that's a huge time gap there. That's a 7-hour difference. 7 less hours of the day it's out, and it gets the same amount of views. That's entirely because I've uploaded it at a really good time for the majority of the viewers, and it's seeming like 3 p.m. is what's getting me the most views right now, so I might just make that a standard time when at least one of my videos comes out every single day. That matters now more than ever, because if I'm getting views in that quick time frame, then my video's more likely to get promoted days and days after. So any YouTubers watching this, heed my warning. Seriously look into when your audience is watching videos, because your upload schedule and making sure they know when you upload and making sure it's at a convenient time is more important now than ever in making sure that the YouTube algorithm doesn't just slowly choke out your channel. I just find YouTube algorithm changes so incredibly fascinating because, again, as a gamer, it's like watching the metagame of a game change after a patch. If you don't know what metagame is, the simplest way I can explain it is it's kind of the strategy that goes into the game by the players of the game. As a patch comes out, the strategy of a game might start to change as players start to investigate and try new strategies and just figure out what works with what. Maybe on one patch, one strategy is very popular because it's very powerful. Well, the metagame will shift towards that strategy, and as more and more people go towards that strategy, even before another patch comes out, metagame may shift again as more and more players start to employ a counter strategy to that. And then a counter strategy to that, and a counter strategy to that, as the strategy develops, whether or not the game does develop. And of course, whenever the game does have a big change, usually in response to the changing metagame, the metagame has a big shift again because there's been an immediate mechanical change to the game that they're playing. It's just so interesting watching metagame develop like this. It's why the unsettled meta of a game is so interesting when it's new. An unsettled meta would be when it hasn't gone through all these phases of changing and counter strategy, until it's kind of settled into a comfortable position. An unsettled meta is more of everyone's still discovering things. The entire strategy of the game could just be uprooted overnight as a new strategy is found. You see this a lot in Overwatch, where there are a ton of people playing it, there are a lot of people playing it competitively, and it's still very new, so new strategies and new tactics are being found all the time. YouTube is very much like that, especially when it comes to gamers who like to min-max. We like to develop a metagame for things in our lives. We like to be efficient. And so naturally, when it comes to YouTube, they look into every little strategy of how can I get the most views? How can I get the most likes? How can I get the most engagement on my videos? I don't know, I think the whole thing is fascinating to watch. I'm probably not as angry as a lot of YouTubers are just because I find it so interesting to watch despite how it negatively affects my monthly earnings. Anyway, that's my ramble. I probably went on way longer than I expected. I don't have like a set, YouTube video of the week thing, because again, I've barely gotten to watch anything this week. I've been so busy working on YPW, so just consider that Metagoblin video that I mentioned that kind of inspired me to talk about this. Consider that your video of the week. Go check out his channel, especially if you're into World of Warcraft. It's what the main focus of his channel is. And I've got to get right back to work on YPW. Until next time, have a nice day.